welcome to or welcome back to my channel So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So another episode of Friday Sews, and I've had quite a busy week, so I have 3 things to share with you today. I haven't actually started my jacket, the So Different long line jacket as yet, but I do have that fabric now washed and it's ready to go. So my plans moving forward will include that next week. Now I know I promised to have my makes video up next, but unfortunately I haven't had a chance to film that. So I'm definitely going to do that early next week and get that video up before my Friday Sews video. So you will be seeing that imminently. And I can't wait to share with you what I've been making. I actually had a look through all my videos from last year to see when my last makes video was, and it was actually last summer. Can you believe it? So it's been such a long time since I've done a makes video, so I'm really sorry. I think back end of last year I really did lose my sojo, and my autumn winter plans just really didn't go to plan. And then obviously the beginning of this year we had lockdown where I had the twins and Harry at home, and I was homeschooling them all, and that was really quite challenging, so I just didn't have the time to make as many things initially at the beginning of the year, and I didn't really have any time to do any videos either. So yeah, it's just been so long, so I'm really looking forward to doing a makes video, so I'm going to do that early next week, and I promise that will be up very soon. So I'll share with you what I've been getting up to this week. Firstly, I did finish my double gauze make for the Felicity Fabrics blog. Now that hasn't gone live as yet because I know that everybody did make their 1 metre sort of challenge garment, but I don't think everybody's got them in on time. So the blog that Felicity Fabrics are putting together with all our makes on isn't quite ready. So I'm not going to share it with you as yet, but I will do hopefully next week. I'm pretty sure it'll be up by next week, so I'll share that with you very soon. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Then the second thing that I've been doing this week is my new look 6446 jumpsuit, and I've been doing that as a sew along with Angela from Devon Threadtails on our sewing Zoom sessions that we've been having, and it's been so lovely to do that together because she had fit issues with her one that she made previously. She actually made it a size too big and used a completely sort of different fabric that wasn't really suitable for the pattern, and I've made one to sew along with her. So as I showed you last week, I used a stretch cotton sateen, so we've nearly finished it. We've got to the point where we just need to sew the lining in and just do the hems on the legs and just do a little few finishing touches to the end of the zip. But here is my version, and I'm really loving how it's looking, and it looks really nice on as well. I just really love this fabric. So I have to say thank you to Becky from Notes from the Sewing Room, as she was the one that showed this fabric in one of her videos. As she used it for her frugal frock, so I got the idea to use this fabric, and it's just lovely to work with. So the legs are all attached. It's literally all sewn together apart from the lining. So I've got the lining in, but I need to sew that down. So as you can see, it's not sewn in as yet. I've got the zip in, and I just need to finish the end of the zip, because where you sew up the seam allowance at the bottom of the zip, I just need to sort that out. Basically, I've got a little gap there. I tried it on this morning, and I need to bring the zip in a little bit more at the back, because I've found that the front band across here is just a little bit gapey, and if I bring it in at the back more, it just pulls it round a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of as much of the gap as I want, that it's where it's sitting a little bit forward, just because I think it's this fabric, because it's a stretch cotton, you know, it has got quite a lot of stretch in it. I don't know if I've stretched it out, or if it's just because of the type of fabric that it is, that it's sitting a little bit more forward. My previous version doesn't do it at all, so I did have to bring that in at the zip at the back, but it does sit really flat across my front. But that fabric is a crepe, and it doesn't actually have any stretch in it really, so it's completely different. This fits lovely, and the stretch is definitely working within my favour at the moment. I've obviously, like I said, carrying a few extra pounds, so it does fit really nicely with that stretch, and it's really comfortable. So I just need to make that alteration to the zip at the back, and to bring it in more, finish the lining, get the bottom of the zip done, and then hem the bottom of the trousers, and then it's done. So myself and Angela are planning to do a sort of reveal video of where we're going to be showing this off, and just to talk about the pattern in general, and feature each of us in our videos as well. so you can see both our versions on one video, whoever you watch. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that, and Angela's version is so beautiful. She's used a viscose fabric, so it's got a completely different look to it, so I think it's really good that we've used different fabrics. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. So I'll get that finished over the next week, and then we're going to sort our videos out. So yeah, I just need to make a few sort of changes to that. The next thing I've been getting up to is I've started one of the next projects from the Poppy Treffery Spring Embroidery Club that I was part of. So I'm playing catch up, and I'll just show you as far as I've got with the next project. And this is the centre panel of a cushion cover. So the sides will be in a yellow colour, I believe. I've got some yellow, and the back will be yellow as well. But this is the centrepiece, and at the moment all I've done is cut out the applique sections and just heat and bonded those on to the fabric, and it's just ready for me to start free motion embroidering with my machine. So you do it as if you're drawing with your sewing machine. So if I get chance next week, I might film a little bit of that, me doing that, because if you follow Claire from Claire Who Makes Things, if you've not seen her vlog, I'll link all the details down in the description box. She's got a wonderful vlog where she showcases all of her different crafts, and she was part of the Spring Embroidery Club as well, and she showed a snippet of how she does her free motion embroidery, and it is slightly different to the way I do it, so I think it would be interesting for you to see how I do it. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully get this pillowcase finished over the next week, but I did have quite a lot of problems getting these sections to be stuck onto the fabric, because the way you apply the heat and bond, it's like Bondweb that I use, and I was ironing it onto the reverse of the sort of sections that I wanted to stick on, and then you peel the backing paper away, and I just was having trouble getting the backing paper off without it taking the glue away as well. It needs to leave the glue residue onto the back of the fabric. So I did contact Claire and asked her if she used a specific brand, because I was having problems with mine, but I think I am going to try a different brand. I've just had all sorts of problems with that one, but just one of those things, I suppose. But I'm really liking how that's looking. It does take quite a lot of time to cut out all the pieces and to put them on in the sort of order that you want them, but yeah, it's looking so good, and that will come to life once I add all the embroidery on, because it does look quite plain and basic at the moment, and it just comes to life when you put the stitching on that you need to, you know, you add the stems for the flowers, and sort of just go around and make these stand out, because that's a specific type of flower. These are daisies, and there's a tulip there. So yeah, that's one evening I spent doing that, and I was getting a bit cross with the heat and bond not working, and then the rain came heavily down on the evening, and I was working in my conservatory, and on the roof it was just so loud. It was like I was in a tent. It was just driving me mad. And then the final thing that I've been getting up to this week is I've finally made my closet core Pouf. Now, it's a free pattern available on their website that you can download, and the instructions are on their website as well of how to piece it together. And I've just recently uploaded the photos onto my Instagram account for this Pouf, and I've had so many likes and so many lovely comments about it. So it was just really, really nice, and it's such a quick and easy project to make. So I'll show you the pattern pieces that are included. There's only 3. So the first one is this sort of cheese triangle segment, which you piece together to make the top section of the Pouf, and then you've got the rectangles for around the side, and then you have 2 semicircles which has a zip down the centre for the base, and that's it. You just have 3 pattern pieces. So you have to cut out 12 of the triangles and then 12 of the rectangles, and then you just piece those together. So for the top section, you actually sew 2 together, or you sew them in pairs initially, and then you sew them so there's 6 triangles together for each sort of half section, and then you sew the 2 half sections together down the centre, and that creates the circle. So it comes together really nicely. Now I'll show you my version. It's really heavy, so just bear with me. I've not got a handle on it, so I'm going to try and grab it. It's really heavy because I have packed it full of my fabric scraps. So as you can see, I use my ticking fabric, and it's created this lovely kind of star chevron effect, and I really like how that's come together. And when I popped the picture up of this on my Instagram, everybody was so kind and leaving lovely comments about how I'd basically stripe matched. But I'm going to tell you, I didn't put hardly any effort into that whatsoever. And I'll tell you how I did it. But I had in the corner of my room this plastic bag full of scraps, and it was just starting to get overflowing and just looked dreadful. And every time I sort of cleaned the bedroom and made it all neat and tidy, that bag was just sat there staring at me, just looking horrendous. So I was like, right, it's time to make this pattern. I've been meaning to do it for so long, and I'm so glad I finally got round to doing it. So as you can see around the sides, it's just all straight stripes, and then on the base it's got the zip down the middle. In the instructions it tells you to use a invisible zip, but I just used a regular zip, and I picked it up from my charity shop for 50p, which was just the right size. So off I went with my tape measure and measured all those zips, and I really am pleased with this. Now it takes so many scraps. I mean, that is really quite a weight, and I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to fit all my scraps into it initially. I thought, oh, I'll have to make a second one. But actually, I just kept stuffing and stuffing and stuffing, and it really did pack it out. So I did have quite a lot of scraps, and I have sort of gathered those over a few years. But I think if you use it quite a lot, they do tend to then squash down even more, so you could just still keep stuffing it. You know, the more scraps you get, you just keep stuffing it. So really, really pleased with that. And it sits in the corner of my room really, really nicely, and I think I'll just put a few scatter cushions on it, and, you know, maybe make one of those Susie dolls, and that'll look quite nice in the corner of the room. It certainly looks a lot better than that plastic bag full of scraps. So for how I did the stripe matching then, as you can see, it kind of joined in the chevron effects. Basically, with the triangle section, all I did was where you've got this grain line here, I just made sure that that was lined up on a blue stripe on my ticking fabric. So the very point at the top was right in the middle of a blue stripe. And I did that for every single triangle that I cut out. I did have the fabric, so it was wrong sides together. So I had a double layer of fabric. So I was cutting out 2 triangles at a time. My fabric of this ticking is actually quite sturdy, so it does behave itself. So when you put it on top of each other, it doesn't really move about. So I knew that the stripes were lined up back to back. So that's all I did, was line that grain line up and the point of the triangle directly into the middle of a blue stripe. And I did that on every single one. And then when you sew the 2 together, it just makes this chevron. So I'll just pick it back up again. Oh. And you'll see where it kind of, it joins, you know, makes this V, and it just worked because literally every single triangle piece, the centre is the blue stripe basically, so yeah, it just joined like that. So I really didn't go around each edge making sure that all of those were matching up. As you can see, some are slightly off, but yeah, it joined up all by itself really, just purely by making sure that I had that centre point as one of the blue stripes. And so when I did the rectangle sections around the side, I didn't really take too much care as to make sure that those were all lined up. As you can see, you know, some here aren't quite sort of parallel to each other, but yeah, it doesn't matter too much around that section, I suppose. So the top just worked out just really well, just by pure fluke. And then where you can see the triangles join around the edge here, some of them have matched up fairly well, and then some haven't, you know, but I'm not too bothered about that. So that is basically how I did it. So it wasn't too much effort. It was literally just making sure that blue stripe was directly in the centre of one of the triangles. So yes, that's what I've been getting up to over this past week then. But I'm honestly really, really appreciative of all the lovely comments that I received on my previous video, where I was saying about how I didn't continue with Me Made May because I was feeling a bit low about not being able to fit into some of my Me Made wardrobe. And it's just so lovely that so many of you sort of resonated with that. And, you know, we are all in the same boat. I think, you know, it's been a hard year, and we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves, you know, and it's just a part of life at the moment. So I'm just overwhelmed with all your lovely, kind comments. So thank you very, very much. you know, but I am sorting myself out and trying to get my fitness up so I can fit back into those clothes, because I do miss wearing quite a lot of them. But I'll just keep making for the time being, and just hopefully, you know, I'll get there. So I'll give you a quick update then on the rabbits. So we finally got our 2 rabbits on Sunday, this Sunday just gone, and I was just so happy that it finally happened. Because I spoke with our breeder on Wednesday last week, I think it was, just to see how he was after his health scare that he had. And he was doing much better, but he was just a little bit tired. So I just said to him, look, I'll leave it with you, and hopefully, you know, you can get them to us when you're up to it. So again, I spoke with him on the Saturday, and he said he was going to be bringing them on the Sunday. So that was brilliant. We didn't mention it to the boys this time, just in case, you know, anything happened. So that was great. He turned up on the Sunday morning, and it was a really big surprise for them, because they just didn't know that they were coming. And they're just 2 lovely blue mini lop rabbits, and they are just such the cutest animals, and they have really lovely characters as well. I think they're about 12 weeks old. They are from the same litter, and they're both males, and they just get on really well together, so hopefully that stays that way. But they're so friendly and so inquisitive, and when we first brought them in, they were in the conservatory with us just to sort of get used to us, and, you know, because they were a little bit scared from being brought in the van. The breeder delivered them to us, and then we let them into their run outside in the bird aviary, and my husband has built, you know, like ramps and things like that, and an area where they can sort of hide underneath if it's a bit cold or windy or rainy. And they are just loving it in there. And they were, when they went in there, you know, they were running around as if they were spring lambs, doing that hop skippity jump thing that they do. And it was just so lovely to see. And then we just put them in their hutch in the evening to stay, you know, to sleep in there overnight. And, you know, it's just been lovely having them. And we're just waiting for one more part to attach to the pipe section so they can go from the hutch into the run, because at the minute that's not connected. We were still waiting for a part, so we're having to take them out of the hutch and into the run section. And they're just loving it in there. So I'll insert a little video clip just so you can see the run now it's finished, and how lovely they are, really. Right, I'm taking you outside. It's a really blowy day, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me, but we're going to go and see the rabbits. So off we go. Ooh, it's cold. Okay, here they are. They're here together. So, hello. We've got here, this one is, let me see. This one is Butter. And then the one that's down there, that one is Radar. And the reason he's called Radar is because he has one ear that sticks up, like an antenna. So this is in their run section. There's quite a few poos I can see that I need to sweep up. So we've got this circle bit here that my husband filled in with sand, and they absolutely love that bit to roll in. And sometimes one of them just sleeps in there as well. And then they've got the section right underneath with some straw in there so they can get settled. Hello. They can get settled when it's a bit breezy. There's also some straw up this side. So as you can see, there's a sort of ledge at the top, and then there's a ramp. And then as you come over this side, there is a ramp that comes down here as well. And they just hop up there so quick now, they've got used to it. So that's really nice, and they absolutely love it in there, and they do bomb round everywhere. And we can move that wooden section around so that we can clean around the back of it, because they tend to do their wheeze and the poos at the back. So they absolutely love it. Hello. Hello. So this is Radar, as you can see his ear sticks up. Right, and then the hutch then it's complete as I've showed you before. So we've got this pipe section here, and we are just literally waiting for that right angle. So we can take that piece of wood off, because that's stopping them escaping at the moment. So yeah, we're just going to attach the right angle on once it arrives on Friday. So yeah, he'll be able to finish that. Hello. They are so inquisitive. They do follow me around when I'm doing bits and bobs. So they like to sit together as well, which is really cute. And they're always up on their hind legs. Look, so sweet. Yeah, such lovely little characters, you know, and the boys go in there after school and they sit in there with them, and they come over and sit on their laps, and they don't mind being handled at all, you know, and they love having some attention. And when I go out there to clean out their bedding area in their hutch, you know, they're always watching and getting up on their their hind legs and seeing what I'm doing. They're very inquisitive, and you know, they don't mind us going in and out of the run and sitting in there. They've kind of got used to us. So I think that's good that you do that from an early age with them, so they get used to being handled and having people around them. But yeah, they're just so lovely, and they're my new babies. I just love them to bits, and the boys are just over the moon to have them. So yeah, it's been lovely. So I think that's all I've got to talk to you about this week. So short and sweet one for now. So yeah, next week then I will get my jumpsuit finished. I'll hopefully finish that pillowcase. Start on the So Different long line jacket as well for the Bobbins and Buttons blog, and hopefully that blog will be live for the Felicity Fabrics double gauze challenge to sew up a 1 metre garment. So I'll share that with you as well next week. So yeah, I think that's everything. And then I don't really have like set plans moving forward of what I want to make. I'm just finding that I'm just picking things up as I go along and just deciding as I, you know, go with the flow really. Yeah, so I don't really have set plans, like monthly plans, because I just really can't do that at the moment. Things are still a little bit all over the place. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you've not done so already, and I shall see you next week with my makes video for sure, and hopefully